Alright, are we live? Is everything working here? I've got my bottle of water. Got my bottle of water here, and I'm ready to do a live stream. Oh god. And we can get the discussion going because, man, I had to test the audio a few times to be able to get everything up and running. Let's go over here. Okay. Yeah, I had to test the audio a couple times. The Beast, hey, it's me. I left the server. What server? What server are you referring to? I don't think I've seen you before. I don't have a Discord server. Are you talking about Red's server? Yoshika Miyako? Are you talking about his server? The graveyard? Oh, okay. I should probably post the live stream in the graveyard right now. I didn't even know you were in the graveyard. I don't know who you are. I was Grab Ahan. I don't remember you. Let me post this. Let me post this in here. I left because I got a job. Was the Discord server taking up too much time, or did you think people were just gonna shit on you for having a job? No, I don't think there's anything wrong with people getting a job if they have to get one, or if that's just what they want to do. You know, having a job doesn't inherently make you a normie. I just felt like I didn't belong anymore. Yeah, no, that's fair. I would talk to people, but it seemed like I couldn't connect anymore. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Now, when you're in a group of people that, like, all have a similar lifestyle, a similar worldview, and you stick out like a sore thumb, it's gonna be difficult to be able to interact with them. Now, I've had friend groups like that in the past, or just places that I frequented online. And I mean, usually I'm always like the guy who sticks out the most. I think that server, that graveyard server, is the one server where I don't really stick out very much. At least in terms of like what I believe. I kind of agree with most of what they say. So I guess that's like the one place where I don't stick out too much. But everywhere I go, I always stick out a lot. I never really feel like I connect in most places I go. I don't belong most places I go, you know? I was number 4 on the activity list. Yeah, I guess I just didn't remember you. Now, my memory's really bad, I apologize. FD Drift in the chat says, yo, hey, how are you doing? Thanks for coming out to the stream on this fine night. Dark Inferno's in the chat. Hey, nice seeing you here as well. We got all of the regulars piling in. This is great. I've been really, really tired today, so I thought I thought I'd do a stream to be able to kind of deal with it. I was trying to listen to some podcasts, but it just wasn't working out. I tried listening to some music, it wasn't working out, so I thought I'd talk until I get tired, because usually when I do these insomnia streams, I always tend to be able to get to sleep afterwards. Something about it, I don't know what it is. I like you guys a lot, but I just feel like I belong nowhere. I don't belong with normal fags, and I don't belong with neats either, I guess. I mean, I definitely relate to that a lot. It's funny, I was just talking about this earlier today, is that, you know, most places that or I guess friends that I've been with, I've always, like, lived with the expectation that they're just going to leave eventually. They're just not going to be there. Or, like, even with outsiders, I feel like I don't really fit in with people. And I don't really know how to solve that problem. Now, I don't have the experience or the wisdom to fix something like that. I think we're all kind of going through similar things. it's just a matter of being alive long enough and persevering long enough for them to eventually get better, I guess. I don't know how I'm gonna find people who I can talk to and will remember me. I think I may have to end up making my own server. I mean, good luck to you on that front. Making a server can be really helpful for a lot of people. I've never been able to retain a server personally, just because I'm really antisocial, so whenever I've made a server, I've always left it or gave it to somebody else. But I think making a server can be a positive step for people who are just trying to learn how to socialize. Like it's like the baby shoes that people put on before they start to get into the big boy stuff. Or I guess some kind of pretentious analogy like that, I guess. Talking on Discord was how I kind of got better at talking to people. I'm still not very good at it, but talking on Discord was like the foundation that was laid to get better at it. And making YouTube videos, that helped a lot too. How is everyone doing in the chat today? Do any of you feel like you don't belong anywhere? Like, I feel this all the time. No, even kind of in the graveyard server, sometimes I feel that way. Like, there will be discussions going on and I'll leave, like, one-word responses or something, or I won't really know how to respond. TFW adult and still using social training wheels. Yeah. It might be autism. I think maybe we're in this boat because we're autistic. I'm tired. I don't know if that made sense. No, it made sense to me. Some people take a long time to develop these things. Some people don't develop them at all. But that's a really small amount of people. I don't know, sometimes I wish I didn't have social skills. I might be the only one who feels this way though, but sometimes I feel like having friends is so much effort that it would be better just to not have any. I don't know. Like, I have friends, there aren't very many, but I have a few friends that I really like Red and Twisted, and my friend Hunter x Hunter Dick Writing Association. Those guys, I feel really connected to those guys, but I don't really know how to keep them there. I think a lot of the time that I'm just gonna lose their friendships, or that, maybe it would be easier if I didn't worry about stuff like that. I don't really worry about stuff like that the way that I used to, where it was like a constant fear, but now it's just kind of something that I passively accept. It's like, the things are going to end eventually, but maybe it's comforting in a way, maybe the fact that the people won't stick around means that you get to be isolated in the end, and you don't have to worry about the same problems. I don't know. Oh, boy. I've been so tired. This is the kind of stuff I get to when I'm really tired, guys. I'm just really sad. I always have to keep leaving because I can't seem to connect with anyone, really, but I also hate being alone. That's the really tough part, I think, because if you strongly dislike being alone and you simultaneously don't know how to contain the interactions that you have, it's like those forces don't really work together, they end up conflicting. And so I guess what I would recommend to you, and you don't really have to take this advice seriously, but if that's the problem you're having, I think the best course of action would be to learn, it would be to learn how to keep social relationships, or maybe learn where these emotions are coming from. Like, talking to a therapist or a psychologist might help a lot. They could help you pinpoint where these feelings come from and help you better challenge them. Some people, their brain chemicals are just messed up, and they need to be balanced out. I don't think that's the majority. I think psychological problems are what most people have, based on my own tangential research, but I'm not a doctor, so I couldn't tell you. But I think if if you want friends, then the best option would be to try and create a plan of action to be able to make those connections, like the end of Evangelion, where the message is like because the hedgehog's dilemma was the big theme that was in Evangelion for like most of the show. um that the message in the end was that even though, when people get close enough together, they can often hurt one another. Part of the power of connection is to be able to make the risk, of connecting with someone that you may get hurt, but it's worth it. It's worth the risk to be able to have the potential good that could come out of it. So I think it's important to keep it into perspective. But at the same time, I enjoy it. I don't like real life interactions as much as I used to, but I struggle with online relationships not nearly as much as in real life. Yeah, I've gone on record to say that I prefer talking to people online to real life, where I've met online friends IRL, and I didn't think it was nearly as satisfying as talking to them online. I can deal pretty well with being alone. Like, I was alone for most of my life. I've told this story a bunch of times, but I was homeschooled until I was 12 and a half, and so because of that, I had to get into the habit of just being alone all the time. Like my mom, she didn't even really help me with my schoolwork very much. I was mostly just sitting in my room by myself, just like staring at the blank page or cheating on it somehow. And neither of my parents particularly wanted to talk to me because they were going through their own issues. So I learned how to just passively enjoy the experience of being alone. But it was also that I had an absurdly, powerful imagination, where even before all that stuff happened, even before, my family didn't really pay attention to me, when I got into the later stages of being a toddler, when I, was first learning to talk, some of the first things I told my own mom were, "Bye, self." I said, "Bye, self." I don't want to, she would ask me if I wanted to draw with her or something, or if I wanted to play outside with her, and I would say, "No, by self, I must do it, I gotta do it alone." And that was one of the first tics, verbal tics that I ever had. And so that was where I continually went, by self, I gotta be by self. And so it made me a little bit sad when my parents, stopped paying attention to me at that young age, but I adapted to it really fast because I already had the inborn, systemic, understanding that I wanted to be alone. That was always kind of there. And so yeah, let's see here. I like, I like online interactions more because they feel more like essays. So I try not to get too connected to people online the way that I used to, but I don't know, maybe that's a coping mechanism. Broke my phone last week, but I'm not mad about it and don't want a new one. Nice. Yeah, I don't like phones very much. I want to get a Huawei phone. Huawei phones seem so durable. They have such good battery life, and the screens are so good. They have such good cameras. They're so cheap. But unfortunately, you can't buy Huawei phones in the United States, so I'm kind of stuck with the phone that I have. I don't even like cell phones very much, but those phones seem really good. Star, calm down. Everything is fine. Just relax. I think I am pretty calm. I'm not particularly upset, in ooh, I must scream and shout kind of way, or even cry. I'm just kind of relaxed. Let's see here. Having friends is a lot of effort, I agree. I tend to break contact with people suddenly all the time. Yeah, no, I've had this habit of doing that. It's hard to keep them. That's the thing, is that, it's partly, like I said, because of that hedgehog's dilemma of when two hedgehogs get close together, their prongs, their prongs spike against one another, and so it's scary. But the other problem for me is kind of boredom. I get kind of bored of talking to the same people. I don't like being in big spaces. I really don't like being in big spaces where there are a bunch of people. It really, really bothers me. Let's see here. Uh, oy vey to you as well. I appreciate the Yiddish reference. Humanity will go on as long as there are two pubescent kids who hate each other. I agree. Normal fags will never get it. Yeah, unfortunately, we just don't live in the kind of society that encourages, like, understanding. And I think, like, there's a larger conversation around mental health now, but a lot of it, I've noticed this trend is that whenever people talk about mental health, it's always in the context of school shootings. Like, we don't get news reports about kids who commit suicide, even though, like, the second largest cause of death for teenagers, and what was it, people 13 to 24, it was the second largest cause of death was suicide. Might have been the first largest, I don't remember, but we don't have a news report every time someone kills themselves. We don't have a news report every time someone has a psychotic break. But all of the sudden, we always talk about mental health when someone shoots up a place. And it seems like it's just a tool that people use in their toolbox to control the conversation about their specific political agenda, instead of earnestly talking about, we need to understand these people and help them and give them treatment. It's like people treat mentally ill folks like they're just this pawn in a larger game. And it's really sad because the suffering that these people experience, including myself, obviously, is very real. It exists. And yet, there's no mass movement to fix the problem. We have, like, the opioids epidemic that I guess the government cares about or something. Clearly not doing enough about it, but they claim to care about it. And that's considered to be a public health crisis. But why is suicide not a public health crisis, Why is schizophrenia not a public health crisis? It's strange. At Star, there is something that doesn't make any sense. I remember you talking about how God is not real because science can't prove it, and now you are talking like you always believed that he was real? What? I don't think I've ever claimed that I've always believed God was real. I don't think I've ever said that. Yeah, it's kind of difficult to believe that God is real. I don't... When did I say that God was real in a YouTube video? I don't think I've said that. I don't remember saying that, at least. I could have said it at some point, but I don't remember. I have a Huawei phone. It's amazing. 128 gigabytes of memory. Wow. Yeah, my phone, I think my phone has 60? It's either 55. It's either 65 or 50 gigabytes of, 65 or 50 gigabytes of memory, which is pretty good. But the thing is that my phone also records in, like, HD, and the HD recordings, like, quickly take up the memory, so that's why I tend to record in 4:3 aspect ratio, so I can record longer. I smashed my phone on purpose. Nice. Yeah, no, phones are really terrible in a lot of ways. I kind of hate the fact that I own a cell phone. If I could own a landline, fellas, if I could own a fellas and ladies for Chronica in the chat, but, if I could own a cell phone, I absolutely would, immediately. If I could own a landline, what am I saying? I said, I contradicted my idea. If I could own a landline, I absolutely would. But I just, I'm kind of forced into using a cell phone. Let's see here. I live in the US and got one, and then Monkey Zulu is saying Huawei was only banned this year, so the second-hand market is still quite big. Good to know, thank you. I'm thinking of selling my phone, but I can get a decent price for it. I would sell my phone for like a camera or something. If only, if only I I had if only this phone was worth anything, because this phone is not worth anything whatsoever. It's only because it has like $1,000 worth of debt on it, and because the SIM card is like screwed inside of it that you have to use the SIM card that came with it. It's essentially worthless because of that. Let's see here. Huawei laptops are pretty good too. Their MacBook Pro replacement has a 3:2 ratio screen that's nearly bezel-less? Bezel-less. I've never heard this word before, I don't think. Um, yeah, I don't really know much about Huawei's laptops. I just have an old, what is it, HG? Yeah, I have an old HG laptop. It was meant for Windows 10, but it's kind of crappy. I put Linux on there so it would run faster, and it's kind of on its dying legs. Like, the person who gave me the laptop really liked the smell of burning electronics, and so they would regularly burn the electronics that they had by making them overheat, and so that laptop overheat a bunch, and it got basically messed up forever because of that. It would constantly crash and break down and stuff. But after I put Linux on it, I put a really lightweight distribution on it, and I used a really lightweight desktop, and I added all of these extra, what is it called? Not binaries, I don't know what it's called, programs, whatever, tendencies, I don't remember what they're called, to the terminal that were basically made to cool the system and make the system go faster. And I added all this stuff to the computer, software-wise, and the computer stopped having those problems. So it's pretty amazing what Linux can do to optimize your hardware. Mental health is only relevant to normies insofar as they are able to maintain wage-slave routine. They don't have the intellectual capacity for genuine depression. I don't think depression is so much about intellectual capacity, because you could be really dumb and have depression. But I think, oftentimes for them, like, they're just not taught about these things, and, like, the social conditioning is so strong that, like, they grow up in an area where it's just not talked about, or if it is, it's usually in a negative light, like, oh, look at these terrible guys, damn, Star, I got SATs tomorrow, oh boy, good luck. Yeah, good luck on SATs. It's hard out there. It's hard out there for a school person. I feel that's very true, Dadgun. Normal fags don't have empathy for something like that. And it's because they're not taught to have empathy for these things. I think most people at their core are good, or at least have the ability to be good. It's just that our society is so sick. Our society is so gross that, that people, the good side of people, is not regularly brought out. And I think people really should be encouraged to seek some kind of mental health professional, or seek some kind of guidance of some kind to, be able to analyze their situation and open their mind. It's just that the world we live in doesn't really encourage that kind of thing. The essence of normies is I have no brain and I must think. That's pretty funny. Things that matter and things that don't matter are something very valuable on a personal level, because when you understand that there are people who are alone but they don't. I don't really know what that means. Intellectual capacity for depression, what? Yeah, no, I found that a little bit confusing as well. Phones are meant to keep you addicted because everything is on one device. Exactly. That's what I hate about owning this thing, is that, I've got I've got YouTube on here, and I can just watch YouTube on this phone forever, because they will send me notifications for recommended videos that they're just recommended videos they send in my notification box. Or they have a system where, whenever you go to your homepage, which you immediately have to do on the YouTube app, they have tons and tons of videos that just get you in a cycle of watching similar things. Now on my computer, I have the subscriptions tab as my as one of my things that I have in my favorites bar, and so when I go to my computer, I just immediately go to my subscriptions tab. I don't go to the recommendations because it gets you down in a rabbit hole. But YouTube on the phone immediately gets you down in the rabbit hole by design. You know, you've got Twitter on here, which obviously I don't use. You got Facebook on here, which I don't use. Discord and so on, and it's built in such a way that just keeps you there. And I hate the fact that I use Discord. It's just that, like, because I left Discord for 2.5 weeks. I was completely off the website for 2.5 weeks. And Yoshika Miyako, otherwise known as Red, was really depressed, and he wanted to talk to me. So I came back to Discord to talk to him, and I caught up with a few other people who I know, like Monkey Zulu in the chat, very good friend of mine. But I really hate the fact that I use Discord. I just don't like it. Like, if I could get everyone to use AIM Phoenix, otherwise known as AOL Instant Messenger Reborn, or if I could get everyone to use IRC or something, I would, because those those applications don't keep you addicted in the same way, and they don't have the same I see Dad got in the chat is saying tranny cord. But I mean, I ironic memes aside, there's very much a sense that the people on here and the sort of culture of Discord is something entirely separate from what I'm into. I don't relate to it. I don't like it fundamentally, but I'm kind of stuck there because everyone's there. And I don't know what to do about that. I can't just drag all of my friends to IRC or something, Let's see here. So much... Oh, I dropped my water. Thankfully, it was closed. Landlines suck. They get spam calls. They do get spam calls. That's why you have to have a cassette tape in it. You have to have a cassette tape in it so when the phone rings, it won't automatically ring. It'll just go to record the cassette tape, and then you can check who called afterwards. And then you can have the caller ID on, so you can call them later if you need to call them. But the cassette tape will just have all the recordings there, so you know who called, but it won't necessarily ring. I yearn for a day where I no longer feel alone while being alone. Yeah, no, it really is peaceful. I think being alone is one of the most wonderful things that you can have. It's some of the most fulfilling time I spend is that right now I have a book. I have a book on my shelf, The Shock Doctrine by Naomi Klein. And this book is like... It's like over 600 pages long, and I've just been sitting here reading this book, and I wouldn't do that if I was just constantly speaking to people. I've got all these YouTube videos to watch. I've been playing through, Sonic All-Stars Tennis, and that's a lot of fun, just listening to podcasts. So many great things you can do while you're alone. Just laying down in bed is really satisfying to me. It's like that old saying, loneliness is next to godliness. But feeling alone is a distinct feeling, where, like, I've felt really alone when I'm with other people. I felt incredibly lonely in groups of people just because... there's a video by Charisma on Command where he talks about how to be alone without being lonely, and he talks about how when you're alone you should just do the things that satisfy you and make you happy, and that'll create a more fulfilling environment. I like technology. I'm a very techie person. We need tech for socialism. I agree. I think technological progression is a great thing. I'm just personally not a very techie person. That's not my field of expertise. I'm not a huge fan of technology. Okay, so much stuff in the chat. Okay, in one of your videos, you said something about why God was a badass in the Old Testament, like if he was real or something like that. That sounds like something I would say. I mean, he was pretty badass in the Old Testament. He killed a lot of people. Me too, Chronica. I love consuming and buying things. Nice. I like building things. Building things is good. We need the city building tendency. We need a government of action to fight for working families. No one knows what that means in this chat. Let's see here. What distro? I have Ubuntu on my laptop. I don't like the fact that I have Ubuntu because it's owned by Amazon. Is there any fun ways we can ruin Black Friday for people? Pie in the face always works. I love Debian. Yeah, Debian's pretty cool. I like Debian. Osaka is too cool now. Osaka seems nice. I think most people at their core are bad and they have to learn to be good. It all makes more sense this way and gives reason to the evils that exist in our world. That's a really metaphysical and kind of determinist way of seeing things. I personally disagree with that. I think society is what creates people as they are. And obviously the productive forces like, the major centers of economic power and those who control them are going to in some way affect what the culture is like. And of course, the culture is going to affect what the people are like. And so we can find systemic links everywhere to human behaviors. And so I think that's something important to keep into account, is that the reason why people are the way they are is because of conditions. And there's a lot of psychological research that says the reason people are the way they are, regardless of what your views are. And of course, you have genetic defects that are in people. That's a very real thing, but I think the predominant factor is where people come from, And I think most people have the ability to get better. Most people have the ability to get better. It's just that we don't live in a world that promotes that or encourages it. Normies are slaves to society. I mean, I agree. It's just the conditioning that exists. People are made to get up, go into a 9 to 5 every day, and that's really the only thing they know how to do. It's like when you go to school every day, it's just training you to go to a 9 to 5. Star, you are alone, but you don't feel lonely. That's what I mean. Yes, I agree. I have a tablet and a PC, but haven't owned a working cell phone in years. I own a very, very old Amazon Fire tablet that I have not touched in like almost a year. I literally spend hours watching videos from the home tab on my phone. It's really addictive. Yeah, that's a big problem. Discord. Just use smoke signals to communicate with your friends. Yes, I agree. Ed I330 waited for your Discord bashing heart. Etsy based. Yes, I agree. I love seeing I330 bash Discord in the videos. It's really great. I deleted the YouTube phone app and only used the site in browser. That has greatly helped with fighting addiction, plus I can block ads. Yeah, that's a positive step that I think people can take. Let's see here. Is kissing pointless? Strange face here. It depends on if it makes you happy or not, I guess. I don't personally find any I don't personally find anything positive in kissing. I'm not a fan of it. I don't know, maybe it's experiences on my end saying that, but I don't find anything particularly good about it. Like, some people, they kiss someone and they're like, oh wow, I feel alive now, I feel amazing. It doesn't really do anything for me. Then again, I only did it like twice, so I don't know. DZ Dog says, hey, it's nice seeing you in the chat. I haven't seen you comment on one of my videos in quite some time. I agree with your thoughts on Discord. I hate it as well, but it really is where most people go. That's the unfortunate thing. Is that everyone's there, so you're just kind of stuck there. That's how I felt about Facebook some time ago in 2015, 2014. I was quite younger back then, but I got so fed up with it that I just decided not to speak to anyone because I hated Facebook so much. I deleted accounts like 3 different times back then, and eventually in very early 2016, I left the website entirely and never went back. I have a messenger app on my phone, but it's really only to communicate with my parents. Let's see here. I do have a secret that I need to tell you, Star. People are the one who make you feel alone, Star. Yeah, no, I agree completely. Yeah, no, I agree pretty much entirely with that sentiment. I don't like being around with other people IRL. Like, it was weird, like, even when I was around my internet friends, when I met them IRL, I met several internet friends IRL, and I still felt alone when I was with them, you know? And I had, like, really long conversations with them about topics that I cared about, and by long conversations, I mean I ranted about a subject that I was obsessed over, and they just went kind of, yeah, you know, I can see that, like things usually are with me. And so, most of the time, like, I tried to apply, like, the social skills mindset and this kind of stuff, and I just felt alone even with them. And these are people who I really cared about online, you know? So it was weird to experience that. But I still do care about them. You know, they're still good people, but it's just weird. It was just weird having that surreal experience of, like, simultaneously being satisfied to see them, and also being really disappointed in you know, in how, like, indifferent I was to the entire situation, or how much isolation I wanted to be in while I was there, because it was one of the first times in my life where I didn't feel nervous when I was with these other people, you know? Because, you know, now when I'm around people I don't really feel nervous, but I had been in my room for so long that I kind of forgot what it was like to be around, you know, to be around other people. So I think in that sense it was a really positive experience. And I started learning more about talking to other people when I was in Virginia. I would just come up to random people and speak to them. And in the park I tried to apply that. And in, what was it? There's another thing, is that in Maine, I tried to volunteer. And meet people that way, and I wasn't really interested in that either. But when I was with internet friends, I thought everything would be different. And in a sense it was, because I talked like I did in videos, or I talked like I did online. So I sounded the same. But I thought there was going to be a bigger connection. Like, I was happy to see them, in a sense, but I thought it was going to be, you know, I thought it was going to be, I wasn't going to feel alone while I was there. And I wasn't nervous the way that I was with those normies that I had been with in the past. But it just didn't feel like the way that I think other people feel when they talk to people. Like, they don't feel lonely, or they have the ability to, like, to more strongly express themselves. I don't know. Let's see here. Needing to communicate on a regular basis. I agree. No, most of my life has just been mired in complete and utter isolation. But there are some people who just can't do that. So I think for those people, they need to find a group that means something to them, and find a group that they can be able to connect with. I was on my school's Discord server. Ew, gross. Why would your school have a Discord server? That's one of the most cancerous things I've heard in a while. And it was filled with normie memes. I can imagine. Jeez. I read that. I felt alone while in Red server. That's why I left mostly. No, I can relate to that feeling. But he is not real, so he cannot kill anyone. I'm just talking about the content of what was in the book, man. I know what you mean. I watched Caleb too. Hey! glad to have a fellow Caleb Maupin fan in the chat. So underrated. He's like one of the best political guys there is. Everyone should watch Caleb Maupin. And I think like he's not like overt about his Christianity, but I think he's a very good like Christian leftist. Is that like he's one of those he's one of those few that like doesn't shove it down your throat, you know. He's very secular, very partisan, but you can tell that like his religious faith kind of influenced his politics in a way, while also being able to be very scientific, very analytical, you know, having the ability to really break things down. And he's a good man. He does a lot of great talks. It's amazing how he can do so many lectures, do so many live streams like every day. He has just hours upon hours of stuff. Very principled guy. I love his work. The Bible and the Quran say some pretty edgy things. I agree. You know, the Old Testament, you know, the Tanakh, the Torah, whatever you want to call it. There's a lot of stuff in there that's very edgy as well. Like in Genesis, in the beginning part, there's this part where it's talking about how God hated humanity so much that he wanted to destroy them for being corrupted or for not having morals in a sense. And the language is kind of weird. Like it's kind of difficult to tell like all of what it meant, but I can't find the quote on hand, even though I have the book on my desk. But it was talking about how like he hated humanity so much after their inception, and it was a very based part in Genesis. Let's see here. Oh boy, so much. That's a nice way you view things, Star. Perhaps I am too pessimistic. Yeah, no, I think it's easy to be pessimistic nowadays. That's the thing, is that, like, the world breaks people down so much, where, you know, we have so much poverty, you know, we have so much mental illness, people feel alienated from one another, like they can't connect to one another as people. You know, when I was in school, I always got picked on just for my size, you know. I was really skinny, and when we would go to gym, I couldn't really do well gymnastically. I almost said academically. I mean, I couldn't do well there either, but I couldn't do very well in the gymnasium. And so people would always like constantly like threaten to fight me, or they would scream at me while we were in the middle of gym. And like groups of people would like gang up on me and like spit in my face, or I would get hit and this kind of thing. And it was just because I was smaller. I was just smaller than the other people, and I couldn't perform well in gym. And there were other instances where, you know, people I'd get ganged up on and beat up and this kind of stuff just for looking different and talking different. And so it's one of those things that it's easy to be pessimistic because the world just beats you down, you know. And I mean, there were a number of other things that happened around that time that weren't so fun, but I think keeping optimism for people is important. Like, you can't fix people. You can't, like, you as an individual, you cannot fix other people's problems. But I think it feels better to be able to, to say that the people, you know, the people who are doing these bad things are similar to you in a way. And that's hard for people to admit, but it also makes it feel a little bit better. You know, once you sit down and go, okay, I could be in this situation if the cards were flipped on the other end. You know, I could be in this situation if my problems were, you know, were a little bit different. It helps you recontextualize it, and it makes you feel a little bit better. It makes it easier to forgive those people who hurt you, you know? So, let's see here. Hey, what's up, Star? From YZZYX in the chat. I have not seen you forever. Where have you been, YZZX? I remember you, I do. I don't know how I remember you, but you were in No Thank You server. You're the guy with the Lane avatar who makes the weird music. I know who you are. I remembered you. I think I'm improving here. So yeah, I haven't seen you in forever. It's nice to see you again. No man is good, only God is good. I think a lot of people would disagree. I personally don't care is that there are people around me or not. That's good. Kissing is less than holding hands, is less than hugging. Can we just ban physical contact? Patrician taste, C. Let's see here. Let's see. Might be because you didn't really connect with them. I believe. You're. Okay, so this is a little bit back. You're referring to the story I was telling about when I met the online friends IRL. I think that might be it. I've thought about those experiences so many times. That's the thing, and it's kind of because I've thought about it so many times that like I can't even forget details just because I've played them in my memory so many times thinking about it. And I don't know. I almost feel bad that I didn't really connect, but I don't know. I just haven't been able to think up anything interesting to say about your latest vids, but they've been good. Thank you. No, I appreciate that. I liked the video I did about YouTube. I did a video called like "We YouTubers Aren't Special" or something like that. I don't remember the title, but I think that video was pretty good. That video was basically talking about how people should be more humble in the stuff that they make, and they should they should allow themselves to have to have the understanding that they're just making stuff. They're making stuff for fun. They're not these big hot shots on the internet and this kind of stuff. So I liked that video a lot. If you guys haven't seen that video, I would recommend checking it out. It's this, like, I think it's the second to last one that I put out. It's the one with the snowy train as the thumbnail. Lil B, I am not a very big fan of Lil B's music. Not a big thing. Hugging, breaking her free will. I'm gonna have to disagree. Mordecai Epsilon says hello. Hello there to you as well. I recently discovered a group of friends. I think what makes friendship seem real is visiting others' places and seeing them regularly. That could be it. I don't know, because I've heard so many people say that, like, their online friendships feel more real than real life. Or I've heard so many people say that, like, the first meeting or the first couple meetings of their online friends felt so much more real as time went on. And I've tried to do those things and they didn't really work for me. So maybe, I don't know, maybe visiting other people's homes is what I need. But then again, I don't even particularly want it that much. Like, I don't have a strong desire or a strong inclination to have friends IRL, so I don't even think I'd really try. Funny you say that, Star, because that might be why a lot of people watch your videos, because they feel the need to connect to a similarly minded, mentally ill person. Yeah, I think that is why most people watch my videos. It provides them a sense of comfort to be able to listen to someone who's kind of messed up. And I hope I give people a sense of hope by doing these things, because I don't want to give up, and I hope other people don't want to give up either. I try really hard to keep going. It's just, like, my videos aren't even particularly good. They're just kind of a guy talking into the camera. But I think maybe that's why people like them, is that they're not really meant to be like a product, They're not meant to be this thing that I put out there and I say, this is the most amazing thing, everyone give me money and this and that. I produce them because I like producing them. Because I have a story that I want to share, because I feel better after I make a video, And I think maybe people relate to that, is that they like listening to somebody who isn't just doing it because they want money, or isn't just doing it because they want to be a YouTuber, So I'm glad I'm able to give some people comfort, that some people are being able to relate to it, Let's see, when you are very connected with yourself, sometimes there are people who live a meaningless life, and you see the emptiness in their life, you just can't connect with them. Interesting. I haven't considered that idea before. I think I've had kind of similar experiences like that in school. Jim Prophet is my favorite Christian leftist. Oh boy, should I explain who Jim Prophet is? It's so confusing. He is the biggest lore character on the internet. He's such a lol cow. He used to ghostwrite the Maoist Rebel News guys videos, and he's really autistic. He believes in some kind of conspiracy theory of I don't even know. I don't know how to explain Jim Prophet. He's like a Chris Chan tier lol cow. Um, School and Discord are both individually horrible. I can't imagine both combined. Yeah, no, I agree. Christian not being pagan. I don't think paganism is very based. Yeah, I330 said cringe dad gun. I think paganism is just kind of silly. Paganism is the basic white girl of spirituality. I completely agree. Lay cringe boomer zoomer saying cringe is itself cringe. Oh boy, what is this metatextual Derrida Foucaultian analysis we have going on here? So much dialectic. Let's see. No fun allowed. No fun allowed. Yeah, I relate. Gym sucks. Very bad for my gender dysphoria. Glad to be out of school. I'm sorry that you've had that experience. I being in that situation where everyone is looking at you and you're not able to act out the affectations that you want to, that you feel inside further represent who you are. Everyone's looking at you and you feel the anxiety that you can't be what you feel like. It's gotta hurt. Star is half satanic and half Christian. Interesting. Is that what they're calling the Jews now? I think that's what they're calling the Jews now. I don't even know. I mean, I've heard like Muslims say that like we're the tools of Satan or stuff. I've even heard like old Christian writing. Well, this is old Christian writing. Look at me. Say that like Jewish people are like satanic and stuff. So I don't even know. How did you bully people? So what I would usually do when I was in school is I had these, and this was later into 7th grade, was I had these bags that we got during lunch, these plastic bags. I would blow them up with air, and I would run behind the kids that were in school, and I would smash them, and it would make a loud popping sound, and it would, people's ears would ring and stuff like that. Really terrible thing to do. You really shouldn't do that if you're a younger person watching these videos. But that's what I would do, because I was just so frustrated, and that's not a justification of my behavior. It's a really terrible thing to do. But I cannot read all of that Hebrew you posted in the chat. Don't even try. So let's see, what was I gonna say? I forget. But yeah, I was pretty bad in school at times, but that was mostly later into 7th grade. You're only a quarter Jewish, Star. You don't have access to our satanic abilities. Yeah, no, Monkey Zulu has the based comment in the chat. You don't have access to our blah blah blah, typical stuff. Christy Satanen. I don't think that's really necessary. PE is the most useless class, and I hate it because all we do is play volleyball. Yeah, no, I can imagine. I never liked playing volleyball in school. I always thought it was terrible. And it was weird because like all of the guys would like look over and go, "Oh dude, look at that girl's ass, bro. I'm going to take my cell phone out." And I was like, "Guys, calm down." I guess that's kind of the weird thing about not having a large sexual inclination, is that I would be in school and I would listen to these guys go, "Oh, look at that girl's ass, bro. Look at that girl's ass, bro." And I just thought it was weird. Like, it made me kind of uncomfortable listening to people say this in school. I just didn't know how to react. It was weird, because they would sometimes say it to me. Like, they would like tap on my shoulder and be like, "Hey, you want to look at this?" And I would be like, "No, please, no, I don't want to." And so it was weird. It was weird being in school with those people, because it was like that was all they talked about, and I had to make the constant sex jokes. That was the only way I could fit in. That was the only way I knew how to fit in. Let's see here. Internet friends feel more real to me. Well, there you go. My kiked as fuck health class taught us that circumcision is good because phimosis. I don't really know what that is, but I do know that there are certain health benefits to being circumcised. I remember reading that, that the whole, having a foreskin thing increases your sexual pleasure was like a myth. There were like a couple scientific journals that said that was a myth, so I really don't know. I don't have foreskin, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. I guess the only person who would really be able to tell you, besides like sexologists or whatever, would be a person who had it in their adult life and then got it removed. So I guess I'll talk to one of those people one day. Maybe when I go to Israel, I'll talk to one of those people. Um, I've showered less than 20 times in the past 6 months. Try to shower more. It's bad for your health to not to not keep showering. I've been in that situation in the past where when I was in 8th grade, I was a NEET. Essentially, I didn't do any homeschool work. I had homeschool work, I just didn't do any of it. So I spent the entire year just in my room, essentially. I think I left the house a total of like less than 10 times that year. It was like an absurdly small number. So I stayed in my room the majority of the time. I was an insomniac. I was always up at night. I would wake up at like 4 p.m. and this and that. And so I was always by myself for that entire year, just in my room. And I didn't shower like at all at that time. I would shower like once a month or something. It was like an insanely small amount. I got really terrible dandruff because I just never showered, but I just never left my room. I have one friend whom I sparsely contact during the school year, but the few times we ever get together IRL, we eat pho and watch pirated anime and indulge in each other's tastes. Is that a gay analogy I'm not getting here? Is this a dog whistle? I don't even know. Regular contact helps, but friendship via pure chemistry is possible. Maybe I don't really have chemistry with most people. Well, maybe I don't have very good chemistry. I feel selfish because I'm more interested in my own ideas than I am interested in the ideas of other people. Like when I hear other people's ideas, usually it feels like stuff I've just thought of before. I like text conversations because they're kind of like essays. And I like doing live streams with people because when you're doing a live stream, it's kind of like a YouTube video, you know? I suppose I like your videos because they are raw and filled with relatable feels. It feels personal and I can connect with it. Thank you. Yeah, I like doing the feelsy videos where I'm just in a really bad mood or in a really good mood and I just express it to the camera. Those are always my favorite things to do. Or if I'm writing something and the writing tries to be particularly emotional. It doesn't even try to be because all my writing is stream of consciousness, so it just kind of happens. I have to go outside today, and then Chronica says good luck. Scary. Yeah, it can be scary. I've been in those situations before, you know. I used to be a hardcore hikikomori where I was very afraid of going outside. So, yeah, good luck. Dadgun says indulge in each other's tastes. What did they mean by this? Question mark. The Beast says, your videos are very natural and seem very real, not superficial like other YouTubers. Thank you. You know, that's the intention that I have for the things that I put out on here. I don't want them to seem manufactured, above all else. Liam says, yeah, Chronica. Indulge in each other's tastes equal rim jobs. Ew, gross. Gross. I was going to search gay conservative politician, but the first result was gay conversion therapy, Scott the Woes. Interesting. Jewish people are satanic. Well, there you have it. There's a verse in Revelation about certain Jews. Ooh, I think I know what Revelation or what verse he's referring to. Jews consider us cattle? I don't know about that. Judaism is the coolest religion. Thank you. Dadgun just says no. Orthodox Jews have got style for days. Yeah, no, Orthodox Jews have really amazing aesthetics in my opinion. Really just so many thousands of years of culture. I like the Iranian Jews, you know? I think the Iranian Jews are really cool. They're one of the oldest Jewish communities in the world. And the Iranians have, like, all throughout history just continually protected them. It's kind of amazing. There's Jewish politicians in the Iranian parliament and this kind of stuff. It's so cool. I really want to visit Iran and talk to some of the Jewish people who live there and just get a sense of what their community is like. It's so interesting. Um, so many thousands of years of history. I'm a legs fella myself. Interesting. I don't really. Yeah, no, I don't really I don't really fantasize about either. People who like asses are honorary not gonna use that word. Yeah, no, I don't think I technically have the inward pass because two of my best friends are both black people. So I mean, I've used it before mimetically, so I'm not gonna pretend like, oh, I have the moral high ground here, but you know. Uh, let's see. Circumcision really messes up people. Oh, wait, no, I already read that. Shilling circumcision, shilling genital mutilation. Is it genital mutilation, though? I mean, I think it should probably be the choice of the individual. Like, maybe it shouldn't be forced on people. Sex jokes are normie jokes for the most part. That is very true. Circumcision reduces UTI rates. Who the fucks wants smegma on their cock? I agree. Let's see. LMAO circumcision cope. Let's see here. Sex jokes make me want to barf. They don't really make me want to barf. I'm just kind of indifferent to them. Physmosis C, or you converted to Judaism / Islam. Allahu Akbar, brother. Nice. Is I330 a Muslim? A Satanist friend I have, he told me that he will be evoking demons, and if I want to join him. And I told him I ready evoke a high rank demon, and I don't really know what, and he told me is that I told him. I don't know what that means. What country are you from, Connor Minyard? My mom wanted me to be circumcised because Christianity, but didn't at birth for some reason, question mark. Korean people are very interesting Christians, I gotta say. Very, very interesting community that they have. She did in the name of top Jew. But circumcision isn't even a traditional Christian thing. That's the thing. Interesting comment, checks up mix. I checks mix the spot. I've never seen you before, but I love your name. I don't think it is a traditional Christian thing. That's why it's strange. Dr. Sheckelstein paid her off for your tasty foreskin. Damn, we're getting into real conspiracy territory here. I like this. It was common for American Protestants up until a couple decades ago. Interesting. I didn't know that. I wonder if fearing the outdoors depends on where you live. I live around forests and parks, so it's always pleasant. You know, I lived in the woods. So I was fearful of going outside, but a lot of it had to do with kind of social conditioning because of my heart condition. So I didn't want to go outside and have so much interaction because I thought my tachycardia would act up at the time. Or what I thought was going to happen was, and I had this experience when I walked down the street, is that I was going to get attacked or hit on or something by a pedophile. That actually happened to me before. I think I told the pedophile story in a video. But yeah, so there were various problems. There were dogs running around that were kind of dangerous, and you would hear gunshots like all the time where I lived. All the time, people shooting guns. Not because they were shooting each other, but because they would just fire them in the air, you know? They would just fire them at cans in their backyard and this and that. Let's see here. I live in the city. If I went out at night, I'd either be raped or shot or both. Yeah, no, I know for transgender folks specifically, like the homicide rate in relation to them is just insanely high. So it's a very, very dangerous situation to be in. Stay safe. It is hard to go outside where I live because everything is so sprawled apart, and it takes an hour to get to 7-Eleven if you walk. That's kind of comfy. It's kind of comfy to spend an hour walking to 7-Eleven because you can enjoy, you can enjoy looking at the city, you can enjoy the nature and this and that. I would love to live in a place that was safe enough to walk at night. The city I live in Kentucky, has quite a bit of crime. Not as much crime as other places in Kentucky, but it has it. I don't feel safe walking out at nighttime. There's a big police presence. I do hear gunshots sometimes, not because people are firing them off in their backyard the way that they did at my old home, but because people are actually shooting guns, you know? Because there's houses everywhere here. Why the hell would someone be shooting guns, you know? I saw a news report not too long ago that in the park that's like right near my house, this woman got raped. And so, this stuff happens, and I can't night walk because of it. I love night walking. It's one of my favorite things. Why are a lot of Korean Christians? It's because of the American missionaries that went to it's because of the American missionaries that went to South Korea. But so to continue my point, I actually forgot what my point was. Let's see here. Check out the newest video on my channel. Someone dropped a penny 5 kilometers away and 500 Jews ran to try and get it. I actually did watch that video. I thought that video was really funny. You only get smegma if you don't clean your pee-pee in like 2 weeks. Interesting. I didn't know that. Is I330 a Muslim? Kek. Well, I mean, I remember you said you were from, which country was it? I don't remember. Has Red told you, because I know he's from the UK, but like ethnically he has like a different thing going on. Like he's a UK person, but ethnically he has some kind of, I wouldn't know for sure if he was a Muslim or not. I don't remember. I apologize. Has Red told you about Korean Christians? I know a little bit about Korean Christians tangentially. Circumcision started off as blood sacrifice after the Jews lost their stupid temple. Props for the proper pronunciation of pedophile. How did I pronounce it? I don't remember how I pronounce it. A friend told me if I would like to try demonic invocation, and I told him I was ready to invoke a demon, and his name is Star. Lol. Interesting. I guess I'm glad I'm associated with demonic acts. That's kind of fun. Foreskins were the dog tags of Les Navy Seals des Echantes. Interesting. I suppose. The people have spoken. I guess I should be grateful I live in a nice part of town. Low crime. Yeah, no, I wish I lived in a low crime place. It would be nice to live in, like, one of these countries that has really low crime, like Vietnam or, you know, Japan or the Chinese province of Taiwan. You know, it would be nice to live in a place like that, where there's just very little crime and you can just go out to walk at night. You know, even though I'm very pro-gun, you know, I'm very pro-gun and this and that, something would be kind of nice about having the safety of knowing that when you walk outside, you know, you're not going to get shot, or there's no potential mugging that could happen and this and that. Do you think religion must involve the supernatural? What are the essential elements of religion? Well, I think the essential elements are often up to the individual and their reading of the scripture, but you have to adhere to the scripture to some extent. I think the scripture is probably the most important part, but I mean, you as an individual, who can we say has the most objective view? I mean, I can have my opinion sitting here as Star, sitting on YouTube, but, you know, how is my opinion any different than someone else's? I can try and use dialectics and try and have it be as informed as possible, but, you know, I'm just one person. Let's see here. I live in a city, but don't walk places because it's not safe and they're too cheap to make even sidewalks. Jeez. It's weird to be living in a quote-unquote first world country and there not even being sidewalks. Yeah, that must be quite terrible. I don't know what country you're from. I assumed it was like an Eastern European thing because the O in your name has a similar indenture to it that like Polish and Czech have. So I thought it was it looked like a Slavic name. West invested in the Asian economy after World War II to prevent market collapse. Missionaries came with American business to spread the word of KFC and McDonald's. Now, the other thing was influence in the economies as well, is that, like, Japan was, like, totally destroyed after World War II, and there was a big socialist movement in Japan. They had to stab with a samurai sword. What was it? Injiro Nasayuma? I don't remember his name, because he could have became the prime minister, and they could have, like, became like a big socialist country, and they would have, started aligning with, like, China and stuff. So that wouldn't have been what the West wanted. So in order to keep people from voting socialist in Japan, they put a ton of economic stimulus into the economy. Some of the most economic stimulus we've ever seen, billions and billions of dollars. So let's see here. Ethnically, I'm Italian and Brazilian, TFW mutt. Wow. It's Italian and Brazilian mixed together. I've never heard of someone who had that mix, because I know Portuguese and Italian are really similar languages. Do you know any Portuguese or Italian? It would be so cool if you knew both of those, because I know they're really similar. And it'd be kind of cool to, like, understand the differences between the two. I live on that stretch of the road between the country and the city. It's the worst here, literally the middle of nowhere. I think I would like living in the middle of nowhere. If I had just a nice little cabin in the middle of Alaska, where I was away from all of society, and I didn't have to deal with glopniks showing up on my doorstep. It'd be kind of nice. Let's see here. But I would also want to be able to night walk to places that are in the city. So many choices, so little time. Sounds like ethnically Portuguese with extra steps. Fun fact, smegma doubles as cheese spread, good for crackers. Okay. We all have our own fetishes here. No Portuguese blood, though. All of my 4 grandparents were from Italy. Nice. Ethnically, I'm a gamer. I agree. He'll always schlep on down for a wedding or a bris. They say that he's got chutzpah. He's really quite hip. The parents pay the mayul, and he gets to keep the tip. I don't know the reference behind that. That sounds like one of Monkey Zulu's, like, 90s references that he always does. I like it, though. It's very cool. We invoked Star to help us with political science and to balance our minds so we can feel less lonely. That's the ability of Star the Demon. He is normally invoked on YouTube for that reason. I love the idea that I would be invoked to help people with political science. That's amazing. He is invoked on... No, YouTube is like... It's like the pentagram that you have to call out with, like, the goat's blood or whatever. I think Did I try to do a goat's blood ritual at one point? I don't remember. I don't remember if it was a dream that I had, because I have these weird visions in my head of this time, because there was a time in 2016 when I wanted to be a Satanist, and I have these, like, visions in my head where I was like trying to get into the rituals and stuff and learning about it, and I don't remember if I actually did it or not. I have this thing where it's hard for me to be able to tell what happened in a dream and what happened in reality sometimes, where I get them mixed up sometimes. Let's see here. So the demon you were talking about to your Satanist friend was actually Star, if I'm following correctly. I believe that is what he means. I speak Portuguese, I can understand Spanish, and only understand/speak very little Italian. Wow, that is really based. I want to be like you, I330, when I grow up. That's really cool. Let's all give a round of applause for our guy slash our guy, I330. It's very cool. A nice little cabin is roll. It's not nowhere. Yeah, no, I like roll energy. I like being away from society, like Ted Kaczynski. Like, Ted Kaczynski was pretty insane, and he had a lot of pretty silly ideas, but at the same time, like, he got to live in a cabin in the middle of nowhere, Montana, for like 4 years. I mean, how would you not envy that? I wish I could be like the kid in My Side of a Mountain, if you've ever read that book. I have not read My Side of the Mountain. It sounds like something that, I would like. I'm gonna look this up. And I'd like to be a big ball of meat that the birds and bees can come around and eat. Let's see here. My Side... I'm gonna have to read this. It's a young adult adventure novel. Okay, I could probably read this pretty quickly. Yeah, it's 177 pages. I could read that in a day. He's talking about Jews eating babies' foreskin. I don't remember... What are you referring to? Boomers like to oppress gamers. I agree. Well, there's a lot of boomers now who are gamers. Get this out, exploding cookies. I don't need to see your notifications. Yeah, no, there's a lot of boomers who are gamers. Like, I've talked to people in their, like, 70s who are really into video games. If you listen to the CU podcast, it's funny. They had they had a part in the CU podcast where Ian was talking with Pat about this like 70-year-old woman who had a video game addiction who went into his store. And so she would go into his store and she was basically abusing her husband over video games. It was a really funny episode of the CU podcast. Good show. Isn't Discordian, he doesn't use chaos magic. Well, if I am a virgin by the time I'm 30, I can use chaos magic. That's my goal. Do you guys think I can do it? Do you guys think I can be a virgin by the time I'm 30? That's what I'm aiming for. That's the real goal in life. I think that's probably... that's just the natural progression. That's the natural progression. Do kids these days, I like the capitalization there, like it's a title, really not recognize Weird Al lyrics anymore? Damn, pretty fly for a rabbi, dude. The thing is that I probably heard the song that you're mentioning. I just don't remember the song, because I remember my dad showed me a bunch of Weird Al videos when I was really, really young, and it was cool, too, because it was on the PS3 at the time. It was, after the PS3 came out, sometime, I guess, like 2 years after, it was in 2008, we were sitting in this big, like, green chair, and we were on the PS3, and he was using the browser, the internet browser on the PS3, and we had dial-up at the time, and like very, very slowly, and he showed me like all of these Weird Al videos, like I'm Fat, that's the obvious one, and it was really fun. Oh boy, good times. Why was the past so great? He does vandalize ads, doesn't? I don't know who you're referring to. Yeah, the demon was Star. I want to be multilingual in the next 10 years. Good luck. I was studying Japanese, but I have not studied Japanese for pretty much ever since I got back into school. I've had barely any time to study it, so I'm slowly forgetting everything I've learned. Yay! TFW bring up Unabomber in English class and get started and get stared at like a future school shooter. I mean, hey, you're not white. So the statistical probability of you being a school shooter has been greatly lowered. You have, like, it's like, what is it, like 95% of school shootings, like 97% of school shootings are done by middle-class white people? You're fine. How many gays have shot up schools? How many gays have shot up schools, guys? I really doubt very many, because gays would have gotten laid. What is your opinion on projectile vomiting? I think it's generally gross. What I used to do was I used to make myself vomit in order to get out of school. I had a couple different ways that I would do it. One thing that I did was that I would, you know, obviously, you do the gagging, you put your hands down your throat and this and that. I would by YouTube comments and requests. We actually have a lodge right now of 13 wizards. I mean 16. I like the fact that he had to clarify 16 wizards. He had to clarify 16 wizards. That makes me want to believe that it's real. I used to listen to Weird Al on a Walkman. Very aesthetic. I want to get another cassette player, because I always used a cassette player when I was young. I didn't talk about that in my Why the Past Was So Great videos, that I always used a cassette player when I was a little kid that was given to me by my mom. Hello, base department. This is Star speaking. Do you know about the truth about anorexia and bulimia? What are these words? What are these words you're speaking to me in base department, Star? Well, you're speaking on a landline, so I believe your mic quality is significantly lower than mine. I can't quite tell what you're saying. Okay, base department, I'll have to forward the message onto my friend's cell phone, and then he presses a couple buttons. Beep, beep, okay, hello, I'm talking to you now on the cell phone. Yes, base department, where am I? I've forgotten where I am. Do I exist? Do you exist? I don't think I do. How much Foucault have you read? Let me ask you this. How much, oh, I think he hung up on me. Okay, and then I put the phone down and I walk away. What was I talking about? USA take the dignity of every samurai in Japan by taking their swords and cutting their hairs. Well, I know that samurai tend to cut their hair after a great a great change in their life is made. It's meant to signify a new era or something. I've been studying Spanish. I've been studying Spanish. I have a weird fascination with Cuba. I'm like a weeb, but for Cuba. I have a small collection of Cuban films and records. No, I think the art, the visual aesthetic of much of what Cuba represents is very beautiful. They have a lot of great artists there, a lot of really talented people in the realm of painting. With older films, they don't make a lot of films anymore, but with older films, they had a lot of interesting things going along, a lot of interesting dramas coming out, interesting filmography. Visually, like their culture, they've somehow retained their cultural identity that so many South American countries, or Latin American countries, I mean, have not. They haven't been able to retain their cultural identity because neoliberalism and the persistence of the profit motive often causes people's local cultures to be degraded and disintegrated. So I kind of like how they've been able to retain, their identity as people, while not being like super reactionary and this and that. But yeah, there's a lot of great art that came out of Cuba. I just realized that the lyrics "big ball of meat that bees can buzz around and eat" refer to the bees pollinating flowers that grow over the body, not bees literally eating the body. I didn't know that. A star fell for the white kids are school shooters meme. I don't think all white people are school shooters or something like that. That would just be silly. I just mean statistically, like most of them are. Cuba still makes films. There are some decent recent stuff. Cool. I haven't kept up. I'm gonna have to look into that. There are still some college math courses that use textbooks written by Kaczynski. Amazing. I didn't know that. You haven't forgotten it completely. If you start from scratch, it'll take less time to get back to where you were. That knowledge is fossilized. Yeah, that's a good point. Most of them are L90 56% goblins or nogs. Damn. Outlaw the anorexic base department ? No, I'm not anorexic. I've only made myself, and if you know my height is 5'9.5". I'm 5'9.5", and I weigh 112 pounds, so not good, but I eat pretty regularly. I have to spend most of my money on food, but I eat pretty regularly. And I get all my vitamins and proteins and stuff. So I don't know what's going on. They told me that my metabolism is just different, so let's see here. They aren't literally every white kid I met was a school shooter. Winking face. That's cute. Yeah, where there are women out there who, it's funny when I listen to these incel guys. They go, "Oh man, I can never get a woman, dude. They're taking me down, dude. They're coming to get me, bro. They're coming to get me." And then you have these like women on Discord who are like, "Oh yeah, I have a thing for school shooters, guys. I have a thing for school shooters." And it's like, if you wanted a woman, you could get one right there. Now the quality of the woman may vary, but Star, if you feel like You dream about goat sacrifices. It was not a dream. It was you sacrificing my goats from the basement. Damn. Star here in Michigan. It is 3:30 a.m. No joke. Wait, so you're in Michigan? Why? Wait, so why is your grammar so messed up? Are you originally from the U.S.? Damn, son. I'm not sure. What was it Oh, it was my weight, probably. I am 120 pounds and 5'6". I weigh 98 pounds and am 5'5". Jeez, that's not good. Imagine being an incel. Yeah, I have friends who are incels. Two of my best friends. Is Twisted an incel? I don't know if Twisted is an incel or not. I don't want to speak for him, but he definitely hates women. Like he was telling me the other day about how one of the lessons that Mohammed had taught was that that you're supposed to hate women. And it was interesting. It was a very interesting conversation because he had talked about how in the Quran, women have to do this and that, and how Muhammad himself hated women, and that was one of the best lessons that he gave. So I thought it was an interesting thing he was telling me, but I don't know if he's an incel or not. I should ask him because I know Red is an incel, and he's one of my best friends. And obviously I'm not an incel, but I try to understand the mindset because they are good people. It's just that they experience a lot of really horrible psychological turmoil. A lot of bad things, a lot of alienation from society. Women want violent men. Yeah, no shit. That's the unfortunate thing, is that is that I've talked to women before. I've talked to women before, who they'll be with a guy and they'll be like, oh, I love him so much. I want everything that's best for him, and how do I get with this guy? And I'll tell them straight up, this guy is obviously manipulating you. There is obvious manipulation going on here, right and left, and they won't even be able to tell. So it's unfortunate that this inborn naivete seems to exist with a lot of people, and it isn't just women. Obviously, I'm not singling them out. It's man, happens all over the place. It's unfortunate. Let's see here. People are weird. I agree. It's 7:35 a.m. here. Smug lolly. Yeah, it's being in the UK. I was gonna say being in the UK must be nice, but at the same time, there's probably a lot of bad stuff. I like the grey skies in the UK. Once a woman refers to Keblob and Harris on a first name basis, she can do some pretty crazy shit under the covers. I love these obscure references Monkey Zulu does. This is great. He's like my best commenter. At the very least, top 3. I remember that there was this YouTube channel where this girl was fetishistic towards Elliot Rodger. I remember that as well. Mumkey Jones talked about her. Unfortunately, the video where he did is now gone because all of his stuff got deleted. Incels in cells getting insured. Yeah, they kind of live in their own kind of prison in a sense. Bad grammar is the best way to troll a reader. I agree. Bad grammar is the best way to troll a reader. I like this. Let me see here. Based incels purging the unesthetic sex. I mean, I don't like sex either. Let's see here. Too many Muslims here. It was interesting. I was reading an article recently that was talking about how in Germany they have safe houses set up for Muslim girls who want to leave their family because they get German boyfriends and they don't want to wear hijabs anymore. And what they do at these government safe houses is they give them fake IDs. And they give them these fake IDs until they're old enough to be adults and they can live on their own. And it's so weird kind of watching this cultural barrier exist where should these kids be taken away from their parents? Should the government have the right to step in and say that, women's rights are more important than your religious rights? Is this a form of abuse to, force your kids to wear the hijab? Is this a form of abuse to not let them get German boyfriends? It was a very, very interesting article, because more and more of these safe houses are popping up all over Germany, and I don't know what it's like, in the UK, if you guys have that situation, but it's a very peculiar issue, because obviously the answer shouldn't be to, oh, let's just not take refugees anymore, because in a sense Europe is responsible for the refugee crisis, directly responsible, and so it's perhaps there should be less taken, but the idea that there should be no taken at all, I don't know about that. But there's a very clear problem. There's a very, very clear problem where this religion is very, very violent and immoral in a lot of ways. And I don't quite know what the answer should be to alleviating this, this large, large cultural barrier that seems to exist. So I've been thinking about it a little bit more lately, because, like, I have these kind of vague moral assertions that, refugees should be taken care of. But at the same time, who are the refugees coming in? What effect do they have on their own people? Not just like the European people, but on their own people, So I don't know. Jews are responsible. They want to destroy Europe by infesting it with roaches. Well, I wouldn't say that, like, Jewish people ethnically themselves are responsible. The problem is that Israel takes very, very few refugees, like, at all. And yet they're, like, one of the main sponsors of terrorism in these countries that have the refugees coming from them. Like Libya, for instance, the Western countries like France and Germany and so on, I mean, they're linked to the funding of Al-Qaeda. Israel is linked to the funding of ISIS and Al-Qaeda. I mean, hell, ISIS has Israeli weapons, so it's really, really, really terrible. And so it's not that, like, Jews ethnically are responsible for, quote-unquote, destroying Europe. It's that Israel is a government that's doing these regime change wars all over the world, and so there's tons and tons of refugees coming in because of these tremendously immoral policies that are being taken by the Israeli government, which is a puppet of the United States, So, I mean, if the object of your criticism should be placed anywhere for quote-unquote destroying Europe, I think it should be the U.S. Because, the USA is the organ grinder and Israel is the little monkey. They aren't the real power in the relationship. They're like the Fem to America's Dom or something, What's the mathy sounding rock in the background? It's massive fermenting dregs. The world is yours. They shapeshift into forms like roaches and big nose. Stop being Muslim and return to your pagan roots, mud slimes. Lots of racism in the chat today. Western countries don't need to take refugees. They need to give reparations to all the countries they've destroyed and repair them. I think that's a good. I think that's a good way of looking at things. I've never thought about that before. Let's see here. I hate normal faggies. I don't think I've seen you in the chat before. Welcome to the chat. I think countries should only let in immigrants that speak the native language, have useful skills, and are willing to integrate into the culture. I think that's a fair opinion. Like, if you can't even speak the language, then, at what point, at what point are you taking a toll on the country itself? Taking refugees is actually bad because they destroy poor countries, then the people who are highly educated and working age flee those countries, which makes it more difficult for them to recover. The solution is reparations. That's a really good idea. I've never thought about that before. Yeah, thank you for telling me that. That's a really great idea. I mean, we shouldn't even have to give refugees in the first place because the wars shouldn't happen. But because the wars happen, we have to do something. So, man, I never thought about that before. That's such a good idea. Anti-Semites always make Jews out to be way cooler than we actually are. I wish we could release swarms of roaches at will. Very based. Massive fermenting dregs. I like massive fermenting dregs. Jews love other... Jewing other Jews, Monkey Zulu. Why do you think so many Jews are LGBTQA++++ trannies? I know what I330 is doing here. He's a good guy. I promise. Let's see here. Oh boy. See, I have emails now. Why do people keep on commenting on the Japanese NEETs don't have anhedonia video? And I don't know what it is. Let me show you my stats on YouTube. I guess I can show you guys my stats. Let me go over here. Is that this video, this Japanese NEETs don't have anhedonia video, has 371 views. And it's weird because these other videos, like this one has 161, this one has 143, this one has 61 views. It's doing pretty poor for the first like couple of hours. But let me go into these other videos, I guess, just to draw a larger comparison. Is that, you know, this one 195, it's kind of a typical video for me. So like most of my videos typically kind of get like 161, 100, you know, around the hundreds, like the mid hundreds, that kind of thing. No, even like the rants get like 100 views. But then you go to like Japanese NEETs, you know, don't have anhedonia, it's almost at 400 views. This human behavior patterns are disgusting has... what the fuck? Okay, what is this? Why I'll never get married video has almost 700 views. How did this happen? This is a 33-minute video of me just talking at the camera, and it has almost 700 views. And you go down the list, too. The time I almost got NEET Bucks, almost 300 views. School is driving me insane, 423. School is hell, 533. It's weird. It's weird how those videos get so many views. The internet is better than real life, 402 views. Like, why was the past so great? 287. It's weird that video got so many views, because that video is just kind of talking about, like, nostalgia in a weird, pretentious way. See here. Let's keep going down the list. The recovery of a failed star NEET, 660 views. The Chad worshipping needs to stop, 430 views. Like, it's weird. What is it? The Bad Leftist Tales video has 214. I did not expect that. Literally just a 44-minute video of me just talking about leftist stuff. I fixed my sleep schedule, 586 views. Like, it's very weird that, like, those videos have so many views in comparison to the other ones. It seems like the general trend behind all of them is that they're like about NEETs in some way, or you know, they're kind of talking about isolated subjects and this and that. Isolation or something, 305 views. It's a little bit weird. It's a little bit weird that those videos are the ones that tend to be the most popular ones. Let's see here. See here, I want all the school shooters to fuse together like Voltron to form column combine and purge all the normies. Interesting. Let's see here. There was something. Oh yeah, it was I didn't read this earlier. Columbine, obscure, get out, feels bad, man. I mean, I feel like it's not that Columbine is like obscure in like the broader sense. It's just that, like, I make references to stuff that happened in Columbine, or like I'll mention it as like a topic of discussion, and people won't know about the trench coats or anything like this. I don't understand. They won't know about these things. Where to them it's obscure. Like I remember you commenting on one of my videos, Monkey Zulu. It made a particular impact on me, where you said that calling Bill Burr and Pat the NES Punk boomers was the most Zoomer thing you had ever heard. And I was thinking, like, like, how much have you been on the internet? Because, like, basically anyone over 30 is constantly called a boomer by both people who are 30 and by people who are, over 30. Like, and people who are younger. Like, it's just constantly in the lexicon is that everybody calls that age group boomers, you know? And I remember you making, like, similar remarks about, like, the word aesthetic, where you said that the way I was using aesthetic to refer to, like, abstract concepts versus visuals was obscure, and that the reason why it was bad for me to use it that way partly was because it was obscure and that it only speaks to a very specific audience. But, like, I hear, like, normies, like, IRL people in the state of Kentucky using the word aesthetic the way that I would use it. And even, like, older people using it that way, where, like, it's in the public consciousness. Like, I mean, for God's sakes, this is not a joke. This is not a goof, not a gaffe, not an exaggeration. My dad knows how to use the word the way that I use it. But like you said, it was like, oh, it's this obscure thing that only, like super obscure internet kids know about. And it's like, you say this about so many things that are, like, well within the popular consciousness, that are, like well within the, you know... So or about things that, like, have become more obscure that, you know, that I don't know. Very, oh boy, so many comments. Japanese gets people's attention. Clickbait is the key. I mean, but those videos aren't really clickbait, are they? I just kind of titled the things that were, in my head. But, oh yeah, so, yeah, I think it's kind of interesting. I think it's kind of interesting that Monkey Zulu, like, exists in this disconnected state from the internet. Get the fuck off my lawn. See, like, it's stuff like this. It's like he exists in a very specific place on the internet where I feel like he doesn't really observe the modern trends. And I think he told me something to that effect, that he doesn't try to observe the modern trends. I think it's cool. Notice how all of the videos that have more views have good titles. But what constitutes, like... I was gonna say what constitutes a good title, but I already kind of know what you're alluding to. That people like extreme things. People like titles that promote extremity, that are like, you know, I'm being driven insane, I've gone back to school, my wife left me, you know? They want the drama. They want the sense that, like, the thing they're gonna watch has, like, a gravitas to it. I just like making videos, though. Like, I don't even intentionally title my videos that way. Sometimes it just comes out. You have an air about you, Star. Interesting. What kind of air? Like, is it a good or a bad air? Is it a unique air? I'm interested to hear, especially because it's your perspective. Like, DZ Dog has watched my channel for so long. He's watched my channel, what was it? It was, I think it was 2016. Yeah, it was 2016 because we recorded the podcast. I330 says, well, night, good stream. Yeah, thank you for coming on. It was great having you here. So I'm gonna get to Chronica's question here in a moment, but, so me and DZ Dog, we did this podcast, like, ages ago. It was, like, early 2016. It was, like, one of the first podcasts I did, and so he's been around to watch the full evolution of Star on YouTube, unless you count the 2015 era, and so, he's been around for quite some time, so I'm particularly interested to hear what he means when he says, like, you have an air about you, Star. Because he's seen, like, the full evolution, because I've changed so much over the years, even in short spans of time. The Why I'll Never Get Married video was pretty interesting, though. Thank you. Yeah, no, I thought it was an interesting video. I liked making it. I think it was kind of a good representation of a bunch of stuff I've been talking about in videos in, like, different places, where I kind of combined all of them together. It's me, I leave your videos on 24/7. Thank you. No, I like being a person who people can leave on all the time, because my favorite YouTubers are the people who have so many videos that I can just listen to hours of them talk. It helps when you don't particularly have much to do, you know, oh, today I'm just gonna sit here and play Sega All-Stars Tennis, and and listen to no thank you talk forever, you know? Um, let's see here. Uh, when I think boomers, I still think of 40 plus 5-year olds. Yeah, I mean that's like I think that's a proper. I think that's actually Gen X, but that's I think that's like the proper way that most people should think about it. It's just that internet culture has kind of wormed its way into how people's lexicon functions. You know, like so many words I used to think of one way, and I changed the way that I thought about it just because I heard it used differently so many times online, and then I started using it that way in real life, and then people went, "Hey, how are you using that word?" And then they would use the word the same way, so it just spreads. That's why I forget the guy who came up with the idea of memes. It was this guy in like the 1960s. Is that he said that memes are similar to genes in the sense that genes spread, and so any kind of idea can be a meme. It's just that it spreads and it manifests itself differently with each place that it goes to. Or there's this game called Chinese Whispers, otherwise known as Telephone, and what happens in the game of Telephone, it's basically like the archetypical idea of a meme. Holy shit, I just realized that. But okay, so in Chinese Whispers, what you do is you speak one thing to one person, and it goes down the line, and the goal is basically to keep the message the same with each person that you... Oh, it was Richard Dawkins, okay. The goal is to keep the message the same with each person that it gets to, but eventually, after the message gets to enough different people, it's gonna change around a little bit. It's gonna sound a little bit different with each person, so it's like a progression. It changes, the meme, the gene, changes with more people it's spread to, because they're always gonna put their own little unique spin on it, and that unique spin is going to be changed with the next person's unique spin. And so, that's kind of like what words are. Atheist Vegeta, basically. And so that's kind of like what these words are, is that like boomer, like it has a specific definition. Like people know what boomer means on a technical level, but because it became a meme, like in Chinese Whispers, where people are spreading it back to one another, it just changed over time, and now the colloquial definition has in some ways superseded the technical definition, where colloquially we understand boomer to be, you know, oh, I'm 30 years old online, okay, but because everyone is online, we just all use it that way, you know? It's very weird. It's very, very weird how these things kind of assert themselves. It's unique. I'm not sure how to put it, but it probably has to do something with your age and how you process things and ideas at your age. Not sure how to put it since I'm tired. Yeah, I haven't really found anyone else on YouTube who talks the way that I do at my age, where like I've found other people who are my age who make really unique videos, but like I feel like I'm the only star. I know some people say that like I'm like a rip-off of Digibro, or that I just copy my stuff from everybody else. I saw that on I saw that on an Obaway-chan thread recently, is that people were talking about my videos. Also, hello, Man Chronicles. I saw someone on Obaway-chan talking about my videos there, and they had said that I just ripped off everything that I've ever said from other people. Interesting conversation. Let's see. Okay, so to get back to what Chronica was saying, is that they said, Star, are you a doomer? I am hesitant to necessarily identify with the term doomer, just because I'm very weird about what terms I identify with. I don't like just like picking something that I am this today, you know. Today I'm a orthodox anarcho-transhumanist or something. No. I don't like doing that. But I think I identify with doomer a lot. Like if you go to my image folder, I have so many pictures here. Look at this. This is one of my favorite ones. George Soros calls Xi Jinping the most dangerous enemy. I don't know why I think that picture is so funny. Jeez, why do I have 2 copies of this image? Or actually, no, it's 3 copies. Let's just get rid of these 2. Yeah, I don't need multiple versions of the same thing. But if you go to my image folder, I have so many of these Doomer images. Like, let me try and find an example of just like depressing stuff I have on here. Like, she's kind of depressing. She's a little bit depressing. She's kind of there by herself. Like stuff like this. Like, I'm tired. You know, just a gray picture. I'm tired. You know, this is actually my this is my profile picture on my anime list. Is that it's this skull guy having a cigarette being lit by a ghost in the background. And no, the reason why I like this painting so much is because it kind of reminds me of hallucinations. Is that it's like, it's just this dark force that's in the background, you can't quite see it, it's a little bit abstract, but it's, you know, it's telling you to light the cigarette while you're there just isolated by yourself. You know, you continue writing on the paper, even though there's this little force in the background that's kind of influencing you, you just kind of idly live with it. Obviously the person being a skeleton pretty clearly symbolizes how dead you feel when you're that depressed. And so as someone who has a psychotic disorder, I really like this picture a lot. And so, like, I have stuff like that. Like, look at this. I have so many sad clown pictures. So many of these sad clown pictures. You go down the line. Let me see here. Hey, this is a... You gotta love stuff like this. You know? I have, who is it? The Killer Clown guy? The Killer Clown guy. Ooh, I like this picture. This is one of my favorite paintings, is that it has this guy and he's but there was the Killer Clown guy. I saved a bunch of his paintings on here. I mean, this is kind of bloomer stuff right here, as I have Fred Rogers quotes, "We live in a world in which we need to share responsibility. It's easy to say, it's not my child, not my community, not my world, not my problem. Then there are those who see the need and respond. I consider those people my heroes." I always looked up to Fred Rogers a lot. I want to be more like him. I know I'm really not like him, because I have a lot of really antisocial tendencies, and I'm trying to develop more morality. Oh, this was the picture I was thinking of. It was the Killer Clown guy. I have a bunch of his pictures on here. So basically, look at this. I don't want to live in a society. So basically, I like the Doomer aesthetics. I relate a lot to them really strongly, and I also relate a lot to the sense that there's not a lot of hope. That there's this is Tucker Carlson that I took this from. I made this meme. This was my meme that I made. So I relate a lot to the general, like, hopelessness that the Doomer folks have, where I don't think the issue of climate change is going to be solved. I don't think that we're going to have a massive political movement that's going to fix all of this stuff. I'm generally pretty pessimistic about the material world, the physical world, you know? And so I guess you could call me a Doomer in that sense, that I've kind of given up hope on where all of that's going to go. So I have a bunch of these sad pictures on here, though. Which one is this? Today looks like a good day to die. I didn't even remember I had that picture. Like, I just have stuff like that on here. So many things. Look at this. Is it gonna load? Oh no, it's using Internet Explorer. You are not needed in the real world. You like serial killers? John Wayne Gacy. Yeah, Gacy. I don't like serial killers. I find them very interesting. I think they're very, very interesting people. Hey, here's another one. Look at this. More clowns right here. But yeah, no, I think serial killers are very interesting. Star tending to Riz's wounded ego, 2019 colorized. I don't even remember this. Can someone explain to me the sad clown painting movement? I couldn't explain it to you, and I have a bunch of these pictures. This lefty pole, old picture there. Bunch of quotes. See, I even have the Doomer video, or the Doomer memes. Thinks a PhD will fix his problems. I used to feel that way. Generally too lazy to play video, watches YouTube instead. Night walk. Once lasted 3 days on NoFap. I like this. Even in literature and art, no man who bothers about originality will ever be original, whereas if you simply try to tell the truth, you will be 9 times out of 10 become original without ever having noticed it. C.S. Lewis. That is why I embrace influence. Bunch of old stuff. I'm not sure if that course of action is Marxist enough. Before we proceed, let me see what white communists on Left Book think. I have a bunch of these. Look at this. This is from Penguin's Memory, one of my favorite anime movies. Suntory Beer. Suntory Beer. And then he's throwing him overboard. It's just a little penguin throwing him overboard. I love him. It's so cool. Let's see here. Disdain for pleb. Okay, so basically I think I got the idea. I think I got the idea across. It's the same thing every day, just sitting in his room. So I relate a lot to the general hopelessness and the doomer aesthetics. What is this? Oh, I remember this. Authoritarian, superstar Slavoj Žižek, the most dangerous philosopher in the West. A plea for bureaucratic socialism, and then you go down to libertarian left. Battle for the Democratic Party is the most important struggle today. And then you go to libertarian right, why there are no viable political alternatives to unbridled capitalism. You go to authoritarian right, political correctness is the most dangerous form of totalitarianism. Hillary Clinton is the problem, not Donald Trump. I love this meme so much, because you can just take Slavoj Žižek videos and put them on any political spectrum you want, as long as you try hard enough. It's so good. I love it. Let's see here. Okay, so much stuff. Okay, lay religion is bad. Yeah, those people are annoying. Umer, memes like evolving. I guess the stroke he had would be his Goku. Oh no. Religion is the epitome of memes, an idea that is so powerful people kill each other to preserve it and force it onto their children. Interesting. Religion is part of social cohesion. I'm pretty common. Lay Umer, ripping off everything I've said from other people. There's a word for that. It's called learning. Yeah, that's a good point, is that, like, you know, people have to learn things from somewhere. Like, if you aren't like, where does your language come from? Where do your ideas come from? You know, you learn things from other people. I think people shouldn't be afraid of that. Isn't that apartment girl from 8R9K apartment girl? Do I have an apartment girl on here? I don't see one. Look at this. When you psych yourself up for a job, but it sucks ass, just like the simulations. It's so good. 3D women are not important. I'd like to stop, but life sucks. See, these are the kind of memes that I keep. Like, there's a reason I save this stuff. Everyone runs in fear of my beauty. What is this one? I don't remember this. How to get into Trial of the Golden Witch. More black-pilled, more experimental. Okay. What is this one? The guards, this woman has lost her composure. I love the Legend of the Galactic Hero memes. Just what you'd expect from Mr. Ono. The girl in the pink vest. I don't see a girl in a pink vest. Yeah, it's probably scrolled down. What is this? Workers voting conservative. Let's see here. First day of school. First day of school. It's such a bad quality image though. What is this? Oh, old screenshots of Discord. Discord, Digibro 2016. You're not reading in the real world. Digibro now. Asperger's. See here. Yeah, I don't quite know which one you're referring to. Okay, I've been looking at images for so long. What is this? Anime was a mistake. It's nothing but trash. Makes me want to hit a desk. Yeah, I can't find the picture. So many images. So many images. Like my Homer Simpson pictures. My Homer Simpson pictures are so fun. Yeah, it's good times. See here. Yeah, I can't find it, so unfortunately I don't. Who is this random Korean fellow I have on here? Chairman Mao, Deng Xiaoping, Donald Trump. Okay, now I'm just getting caught up in looking at my own pictures. Can someone explain? Oh wait, no, I already read that. At sea, we live in a society. I'm a recovering Coomer. Coomer is a forced Reddit meme. I thought it was an anti-Reddit meme. Oh well, don't care. If it's on 4gag, it's on Reddit. Okay, kiddo. What is a Coomer? Let me Google this. I gotta Google it like I gotta Google Bookchan. Coomer refers to Wojak with severe masturbation addiction, otherwise known as cum brain. I didn't know this was a Reddit meme. This looks like a... Wojak has been posted on Reddit, but it doesn't mean he's been taken over by Reddit. You know, I think Wojak is still a 4chan thing. I mean, I know he calls it 4gag, but... But I'm glad that, what is this meme? Donald Trump as a Coomer. Okay. I've been on Know Your Meme too long. But yeah, no, I'm glad you've been recovering, DZ Dog. I can only imagine how difficult that is to go through. Look at this. Why didn't you cry at your mother's funeral? And then the character from The Stranger. The character from The Stranger there is just looking indifferent. What is this? Oh, anagram stuff, okay. I remember when I was interested in the anagram. So many pictures. I like this. I think I used that as a video thumbnail one time. I eat lobsters for breakfast. There's a cat with the middle finger. Here is Israeli Pepe. I like him. Good guy. Why was I going through these again? Jason Unruh is the Futura tipping neckbeard of socialism. I agree. He's kind of a meme. You basically go to him to get meme news. If you want meme news, go to Jason Unruh. I want to fly in the sky. Okay, I've been doing this for too long. Let's see here. Okay. Let's see. Have stuff I haven't caught up on. I think I've caught up on everything. Are they still playing Massive Fermenting Dregs? Sometimes I forget that the thing is still going in the background because it has autoplay on. Unruh says a lot of really questionable stuff, then says, oh, it was just a meme. Yeah, like, isn't that, they have a word for that, is that they said, it's like, dog whistling, that's the word. Is that, can we get music share time? I don't have like a dedicated playlist for music unless I go to my other YouTube account, and even then that account doesn't have like a lot of of good music that's like obscure on there. A lot of my music I just try to recall from memory, which obviously, knowing me, is really bad. But I can share some of my favorite albums off the top of my head. Let me see here. I used to have an album chart, but I don't have it anymore. Actually, I could go to my Rate Your Music profile if we really want to go back. I like this artist, Ema Mouse. This one. I think she's actually transgender. I don't remember. This Ena Mouse. I like what they do. Is that it's basically kind of like noise music mixed with something else. I was only pretending to be dialectical, Jason. Let's see here, let me share this on the stream. I don't know if you guys can hear it though. But yeah, Jason says a lot of, he's basically a meme. I like this artist. I like this artist, this Sasate Rion. This one's good. I like these guys, these Belarusian guys. Let me give an example. Yeah, these guys are cool. I like this artist. Put them in here. Gore shit. Yeah, these guys are great. I've listened to pretty much all of their music. A tomboyish love for soda pop and apple sweets. I've listened to pretty much all of their music. I love these guys. They're very, very loud. Okay. Yeah, you keep going. Let me see here. There's a, I like black metal a lot. Well, I don't like it as much as I used to. I used to really like black metal a lot. Too many musics to list. But yeah, this is one of my favorites right here. I guess I could go to my rate your music page. I just would have to find an old video. I'd have to find an old video that has it. Look at this. They always have this dumb bullshit. Brush up on your analytics skills. The secrets to long-term success. Ugh. How about no? Okay, let's go to, okay, this is an old video. This should have my rate your music on it. Okay, let me go down. Yes, rate your music right here. Okay. I haven't used rate your music in forever. And the rate your music, note, this user has not visited rate your music in the past 60 days. So yeah, like my rate your music profile is pretty outdated. There's a lot of opinions on here that I don't really agree with anymore. It says listening to Denpa music, J-pop, trap rap, math, and post-rock, vaporwave, experimental aesthetic bullshit, which is more or less true. Let's go to all the stuff I've rated 5 out of 5. This is gonna be dumb. I know that for sure. Okay, we've got Ema Mouse, Planet Spiral, Biobombing. I still agree with that. We've got Secrets of the Silent Earth, In Keeping Secrets of Silent Earth 3, good stuff. Crystal Castles, good stuff. Mindless Self-Indulgence, Machine Girl, all good stuff. Johnny Hobo, I like all this. Actually, let's listen to Love Songs for the Apocalypse right here. I spelt apocalypse wrong, but it'll autocorrect in the thing, so I don't care. This was my favorite album for the longest time.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
This was my favorite album for the longest time. I have no idea how loud it is on stream, so that's why I've tried to be careful. Run the Jewels is really great. They've got a Killer Mike on there, good guy. He makes it's an American spirit. He asked how I can smoke such shit. But I like this album by Sinran Poji, One Room Survival. And like chain smoking TPC cigarettes. But any smokes will kill ya. But these smokes will make you feel like it. I haven't sung in so long, jeez, okay. Hot curb, and remember back to February, the trip to Harvard, and 5 minutes ago you... Oh, I like this album right here. Serial Experiments Lanes, soundtrack, Siberia mix, good stuff. Shinsei Kamata-chan, ooh, this album. This album is so good right here. My Room, My Stage by Izumi Makura. My Room, My Stage, amazing album. You can kind of see a aesthetic trend in what I like One Room Survival, My Room, My Stage, Samune by Shinsei Kamata-chan, which literally has a song on it called Nutty Neat. You've got... Did you give 5 stars to Strange Ways of all Smith's albums? I like Strange Ways a lot. I think I don't know, there's just something about it. I really like the album. Hate by the Delgados, good stuff. And then here we go. Goreshit, Tomboyish Love for Daughter, good stuff. Well, I'm heading out to bed. Nice talking with you, Star. It was nice talking to you as well. I sent you a message on Skype a couple days ago, DZ Dog. I don't know if you saw it or not. But this album, One Room Survival, is really cool. I don't know if YouTube will let me play it, though. But yeah, hopefully you'll reply to my message on Skype. But this album's cool. It's got kind of like the 2002, Yeah, I love this album so much. Let me go to other albums I've rated on here. A lot of my tastes has actually stayed the same. Oh boy, I've given so many things a 9 out of 10. Okay, we've got Frenzai or Culpra by Frenzai. Very, very good album. I really love this record right here. You can see the general trend is, okay, I will not give Day 69 a 9 out of 10 anymore. This is totally wrong. This is totally wrong. Why did I do this? See, this is what I'm talking about. Is that you find weird stuff if you go on my old Rate Your Music page. Goodbye Good Girl. This is a great record right here by, Tintenko. Or wait, no, this is just a song, isn't it? Yeah, this is just a song. Let me find this song on YouTube. Necrophiliac is good. Look up, yes. Oh my god, I love this song so much. I used to be really big into Crywank. You know, you've got James is Going to Die Soon, Tomorrow is Nearly Yesterday, and Every Day is Stupid. I don't like these albums nearly as much as I used to. I was younger at the time, and so I related more to the lyrics, but I still think they're good records. I don't think they're 9s out of 10, though. So you got Caro Caro Bonito, this kind of stuff. Yoshimi Battles the Pink Robots, good stuff. More Ina Mouse. Doopies! Doopie time! This album is so cool. Doopie Time, Audio Laboratory Science presents Doopie Time. I love this record. It's an amazing, experimental, you know, melancholic album. Let me Google this right now. Let me I know the song isn't officially finished, but I just want to show you. This is what we're talking about here. Oh hell yeah. This is amazing right here. Okay, I don't want to get copyright striked. But yeah, the Doopies is amazing. Oh my god. I listened to this. I know I keep going back to this One Room Survival Senran Poji album so many times, just laying on my, at the time what it was is it was an air mattress. I had an air mattress that I would lay on to get to sleep, and I would lay on that air mattress all the time listening to this album, just in my room, because I didn't have a job, I wasn't going to school at the time, and I was really, really depressed, so I would listen to this One Room Survival album all the time, because it just like perfectly embodied what it felt like to be like a NEET at the time. It was great. See, like, I have like Come Over When You're Sober here. This is weird stuff that I have here. Like, I would not give that a 9 out of 10 nowadays. Like, Neutral Milk Hotel, a 9 out of 10. Like, again, like, these are the weird things. Fucking Post Malone I have as a 9 out of 10. What the fuck? Okay, this is making me sad. I love this artist right here, Hatsune Kaidan. There was a record, I'll Never Fall in Love Again, at the time. I was a really big fan of this record. It has a 2.83 on Rate Your Music, but it's a mixture of J-pop and noise. Post-mellow. Hatsune Kaidan person. This is really obscure stuff. I don't think most people know about this. Where is it? Ah, come on. I don't think most people know about this artist. Is that I really like them. Like, okay, look at this. Like, most of their songs have less than 1,000 views. You know, what do you do about that? What do you do about the fact that, like, most of their songs... let me just go to the title track of the record. I like how it has Hatsune Miku just hanging out with these guys in this, like, strange, like, 90s, like, a kid drew it kind of art style. Hey, I'm still subscribed to Neko Shelf. Let me skip a little bit ahead. See, this is the kind of stuff that I like. I like stuff that sounds kind of weird like this. Sunday Morning Cover is good. I agree. Obviously, I have Love Trip here, and then Satsuse Rion. You know, this this album, Hi-Fi Anatomia, this album I've listened to so many times, it's unreal. Because it embodies like the neat aesthetic. This album's really great. I was listening to it in school the other day actually. I was just jamming out to this album. I love it so much. Life of Pablo, I think I would still give Life of Pablo a 9 out of 10. Flockavelli, of course. Let's see here. I've heard all of this, to be honest. Let's go to 4 out of 10. Ooh, have you heard this record right here by 385, Ninjan 385, this album right here. What was this? Female vocals, energetic, ancient, dense, art punk, jazz funk, noise rock. I don't remember this record. I don't actually remember listening to this. I seem to be a fan of it at the time. Okay, so they have the full album here. Let's just go to a random spot. Okay, so, it's this kind of music. It's just really loud. Okay, I can see why I like this at the time. Okay. Good stuff. I'll have to listen to it again at some point. Andrew Jackson Jihad. The Money Store we've got on here. Great album, The Money Store. The Left Rights. Bad Choices Made Easy. Hey, gotta have that obscure Jimmy Urine albums. Mogwai. I was really into Mogwai at the time. No thank you doesn't laugh. I was really into Mogwai at the time, so I would listen to lots and lots of Mogwai all the time. So it's weird having all this trap rap just like randomly on here where you have like actual good music and then you just randomly have trap rap. Hey, we've got Elephant Gym. Elephant Gym is good stuff. Big fan of this Taiwanese math rock band that they got right here. Very aesthetically pleasing. The voices are nice. I like them. What did I give a 3.5? These are... Oh, we've got some more friends I hear. Jendai. Watashi no Koko. What is this? Watashi no Koko. It says glitch pop. Glitch pop art noise. Interesting. I want to listen to... Well, Goodbye Girl will get me a copyright strike. It's too popular. You should listen to Yup, such as a song for Sick Boy. I think I've heard the song for Sick Boy before. Or For a Sick Boy, excuse me. Let's see here. I think I've heard this song before. It sounds very similar to stuff I would have at one point listened to. A City Without Angels. Let me just put this one on. But yeah, I like Japanese music a lot. Or stuff that's like adjacent to Japanese. Like, is this it? Okay, I will add this to watch later list. Okay. Is this a remix of the song? It looks like this guy remixed it. But yeah, see what other stuff do I got like Death Cab for Cutie on here, just kind of, you know, meh. Radiohead OK Computer. It's not even a good album. What is this? Kyoko no Gaiden. Oh, it's math rock. I was listening to a lot of math rock back then. I was listening to a lot more math rock. I used to be a much bigger math rock person. I still really like it. I just don't listen to it all the time like what I did back then. This album I remember being cool. Got these guys a little hanging out here. Oh yeah, this was my shit at the time. What did I give a 3? Okay, we've got the Gigi. I don't even know how to say that. Jesus and the Mary Chain Darklands. I didn't like it that much. Tokyo Ghetto Pussy Disco 2001. This album wasn't that bad. Come on, I had to have had at least a little bit more praise for Tokyo Ghetto Pussy. Come on. Gib Links. Let's see here. Who's Kayako? Oh, this is just the same artist I'm listening to. I don't know who he's telling to give links. Shiori. I didn't like Shiori. Well, then again, I don't remember. Oh, it's new jazz post-rock. I used to like almost every post-rock album I listened to. It was rare that I listened to one that I didn't like. What have I given? Disturb the Sickness. I have it. I have it at one star. I mean, or really, it's half a star. I mean, that's good. Give links. Oh, me. Give links to. I could just send you my Rate Your Music profile. Everything that I'm talking about is on here. So there you go. So this is kind of an archive in time, but yeah, Mac DeMarco's Salad Days. I actually really like Salad Days now. Not the entire album, but there's a lot of songs on Salad Days that I do like Ode to Viceroy is one, Chamber of Reflections is one I like, Treat Her Better is an okay song, actually no, those are the only songs I like. Mac DeMarco's best album is Dog Days, or This Old Dog, excuse me. This Old Dog is a really great record. I like pretty much every single song on here. This Old Dog is really great. I guess I hadn't listened to it at the time that I had this Rate Your Music account, but yeah, I guess that's an overview of some of my music tastes. Is that my music taste is, I guess, a lot of the albums I've listened to now, you just can't find on Rate Your Music because I haven't used it in so long, and even the last time I used it, I didn't include everything that was on there. So, I'll have to, $100 NZD. What is this currency? Let me look this up. NZD. Oh, New Zealand dollar. That makes sense. Ooh, I kind of like the sound of this. Christchurch, New Zealand. This is just the opening to his Bandcamp. I want to listen to this Necrophiliac Fellow. Oh, this is very much aesthetic type stuff. Okay. Yeah. No, I could see getting really into this. I could see getting very much into this. This is kind of similar to Crystal Castles in a way. I like this. I like atmospheric music that just makes you listen to sounds. Digiscum is the Patrician's Vaporwave. I agree. Okay, I don't think I have much else to say. So I'm getting kind of tired now, so I think I might be able to finally get to sleep, but if you guys have anything you want to tell me, I guess go ahead, but this is about the time when I start winding down to get to sleep, so yeah, I'm gonna wait for, I guess, if anyone has a question or a thing you want me to talk about, I guess now is the time, and then I'll go to bed. Yeah, I always give these little allotted periods of time. Good music taste. You gave me a lot to listen to. Nice. I'm glad you're still here, the Beast. I hadn't seen you commenting, but yeah, at the time my music taste was kind of all over the place because I liked a lot of weird pop and trap rap, which I don't really like very much anymore. But I also had very aesthetically interesting, obscure music on there as well. But so much of the music I've listened to just isn't on Rate Your Music, so I think I should go back and update it one of these days. I'm going to give about a minute more, and then I'm going to end the stream, unless someone says something. Thank you to everyone who came out today. I always appreciate the people who watch the whole stream, who are there from the beginning and then keep going on, and the people who interact a lot. You guys helped me through, you guys helped me through some rough times. Especially not being able to sleep. Yeah, I don't think anyone's gonna say anything. So, I think, yeah, this is, oh wait, sites like, RYM give me raging database autism. I always liked the way that Rate Your Music looked, because it has kind of the early 2000s design that websites used to have. I like websites that had the look and feel of the older internet. Hmm. Hmm. Okay, I think this is about it for me. Thank you. Thank you to everyone who came out today again. Thank you to Chronica, Comrade Chronica in the chat. She's a very nice person. I didn't expect to see her here. I've seen her comment on the Shonen Ronin videos, but I've never seen her comment on my videos. So it was kind of like a surprise, because I see her on Caleb Moppin streams as well, and it's always like, oh, it's the smart person. But yeah, okay, goodbye. Also, thank you to Dad Gun the Recoil for making me talk about music. That was cathartic.